Hey folks, this is Pete from the band Mammal, and you're listening to Collision on Voice FM.
How are you tonight, Pete?
Yeah, great. Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. And so I wanted to actually, well, of course, we're here to talk about Mammal, and you do have a tour coming up, but I think it's pretty amazing because you guys were only around for a few years. You had a huge impact on the live scene, particularly in Australia, and now you've reformed, and it's the original lineup that you've reformed with.
Yeah, it was very important to us, I guess, if we were going to do it again, to try and do it with the original lineup. And, you know, it's just never the same. If a band gets back together but then it's missing someone, it's just never the same. And so we felt it very important to the fans of the band and to the legacy to do it again with the original lineup. And I'm not going to lie, like, there has been a few little hiccups in getting it to that stage, but touch wood, you know, it's for the right reason, and we're going to go out there and just nail the tour, so it'll be awesome.
Yeah, well, I guess you guys have all, done other stuff, gotten lives and stuff since Mammal broke up, and originally reformed just to do a tour, but now you've started recording as well.
Yeah, well, we did the comeback show, and it went so well, and so many fans really loved us. Loved the show and gave us a lot of love. And then we did a few little Christmas shows, and that was like, okay, well, what next? And we didn't want to do a big tour until we had some fresh material, you know. We just didn't want to just keep hacking away at the old stuff. Wanted to see if we had anything else in us and if we could do it together, right together. And yeah, so the first two tracks out there now and getting a great response, and, you know, we're stoked with them. So, like, Geelong's the first show of the tour, and we'll crank out Community there for the first time live.
Yeah, definitely. And you've got 2 songs out, and I did see somewhere that it's a double A-side single, but I've only heard the song Community. So what is the other song?
Oh, the other song is called Virtue Signalling. It's sort of a heavier, more riff-based song. And the reason we did put out 2 songs is because I guess we like giving people more. If we've got more, we want to give them everything we've got. And we had those 2 songs kicking around. But also, Virtue Signalling is maybe a little bit similar to some of our older work, and we didn't want to alienate old fans by, say, Community being a bit too poppy or funky. We're like, you know, so I think it's the best of both worlds in those 2 tracks, and yeah, just a bit of a signpost too for where we're heading.
Right. Well, considering my show is a rock and metal based show, I want to get hold of that other one.
Yeah. Well, there's Zeke's got a bit of screaming in the bridge, and there's there's a few little F-bombs dropped in there, and you're definitely calling out all those virtue signalers out there, you know, that are making the world a worse place to live in. So yeah, it's nice and edgy, that track, and it was so funny. Like, there's a video which we shared from Machine in the States. Now, Machine, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but he's worked with Lamb of God and Clutch and Which I Would Die, and he's really cool bands. And he put up on Instagram while he was mixing him rocking out. And this was even before the track came out. And we were like blown away. We thought it was so funny, but we thought, oh man, like, imagine if a producer did that to, say, Metallica or something, they would just get slammed. But because we're unknown in the States virtually, we're just like stoked that he did it. So it's really cool.
Awesome. Well, actually, then I want to, like, while I've got you here, I did see that you used to play in a band with Pete Murray, Stonemasons. That would have been like a pretty exciting time for you in your career.
Yeah, I did that for 5 years on his first 2 records, the Feeler record and the See the Sun record, and, you know, got to tour Australia multiple times. I think we played on Rove like 5 times, and, you know, things like the NRL Grand Final, and went to Moscow and New York and London and Amsterdam, and just lots of cool places. And it really gave me, obviously I was a session guitar player, so I was being paid to play, but it gave me just that industry experience that I really needed to learn and take to my own project, I suppose. So it was invaluable experience and a good time. And look, honestly, a lot of it is just such a blur. It feels like a different life because things were just so busy and also chaotic, and a lot of excesses that we don't need to go into. But as you can imagine, you know, it was a really good time.
Yeah. Well, did you actually take from that you would want to be living at that level of your career all the time, or were you happy to go back to the farm?
Look, me coming back to the farm, I'll be completely honest with you, it was definitely like a plan C or a plan D. I really wanted a music career, and I guess coming out, when I left Pete Murray, I quit Pete Murray's band to do Mammal. Like, Mammal had got to the point where shows were clashing and it was affecting Mammal, and I went all chips in on Mammal. And then when Mammal virtually hit a brick wall, I guess, where it became apparent that we couldn't continue because we weren't going to do anything good if we did continue, it was heartbreaking, and it took a long time to come back from that because I guess it takes a long build to get to the top, but when you fall off a cliff at the top, it takes an even longer build to get back up again. So, I still feel like I'm doing the hard yards, even though Mammal seems to be back and doing well. I haven't stopped playing, but it's been a long journey, I guess, to get back here.
Yeah, and I guess when you say Mammal are doing well, it's on, I guess, what you'd call an underground level, because any type of band, like in any country at the moment, don't seem to be very popular on commercial radio.
Oh, look, you're exactly right. And to speak to people like yourself is awesome to get the support, and it's what we really need. And yeah, when I say doing well, I mean like our tours pay for themselves and stuff, and we're not out of pocket. We can pay for records and music videos, but we've all got day jobs and we've got other lives. Unfortunately, it's not at that point where we're banking money. But I think, like, in a parallel universe, if we had stayed together for 8 years, I'd like to think that it would have been a full-time thing by now. So we to get back to that might take a bit of a miracle, but if we can take baby steps towards it, not to put too much pressure on ourselves, because honestly, like 8 years ago, I think we were on that trajectory to want to be like AC/DC, you know what I mean? It's just that take no prisoners, take over the world kind of mentality. And when you have that mentality, you put excessive amount of pressure on yourself. So when something doesn't go your way, it's like the end of the world.
Yeah. But, well, when it comes to Australian bands, and like you guys are classed as one of the top bands in the country, despite commercial radio. Yeah,
well, thank you. Like, obviously, back in the day, we got offered a record deal from Sony, and it was quite a big deal. And, that may have pushed us in that trajectory. We only have ever had minimal Triple J airplay. And I guess we've just, the reason we didn't do the Sony deal was because we had a fan base that was giving us enough money to make the records that we wanted to make. And we didn't really feel like we wanted an A&R or any other influence on our art. Like, we were just happy to play what we felt and to be our own entity. And I think when you take that path, it's a longer journey. Like, we're not going to buy the latest fashion to try and get in that magazine to look cool, to write the riff that sounds like that next band. We're never chasing. Like, Mammal's always just doing what we feel we want to do, or what we feel is good for us. So I think that when you do that, it's just a longer journey. And if they come to the party at some point, we'll be there with open arms. We aren't against any other form of radio. Yeah, of course. Hopefully they'll start waking up sooner rather than later. Triple M. Yeah, like the thing is, as well, like when the band ended, we were starting to get a lot of success in the UK. We were getting picked up there on video and radio, and even now there's a few little sniffs from Paris and back in the UK as well. And, in other countries, I was also talking to because I'm sort of part of the self-management of Mammal, and I was talking to a radio plugger in the States the other day, and he was like, radio here is still just all about rock. There's just like so many rock stations. He said, I couldn't even list them all. He's like, this is going to be awesome. We're taking it to here, 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 and here. I'm like, wow, in Australia, we really don't have that access. As you said, there's the Triple M and Triple J, and obviously it's great with the communities, but the communities just don't have enough reach. So, it's going to be, I think, like you said, for Triple M, it might take us breaking more international for them to then want to play us, but that just may be the path. I'm not sure. Unfortunately, it seems to be the way in this country. But anyway, we'll get on to this tour that you're doing, which is really quite extensive little tour. You're going all over the country, basically, except the Northern Territory. You are going to Perth and you're going to Tasmania, and you've spread it out over 4 months. Yeah, look, it's kind of spread out because of our schedule. Obviously, we're working in between and we're going out and we're playing good nights. So it's not like a tour that we used to do where we'd get in the van for 4 weeks and drive between each show. We'll obviously be flying this one. But they're all the places where we had a really solid following back in the day. And, you know, we've had consistent people messaging us and on social media, etc. Come and play. So we're hopefully in this tour ticking off all the boxes for those core fans. And like, unfortunately, we're not making it to North Queensland this time, but I think like that's on the list for a later stage too. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. Like Mammal, you know, there's little places, pockets of places around Australia where we had like massive fan bases. Like Newcastle's a really great rock town, and you know, obviously Hobart and Tassie's always done really well for the band. Perth did well for the band. So it's going to be really exciting to get back to these places.
Yeah, definitely. And you've got like quite a few spare weekends in between there that you might even slip in a few extra shows if they come along.
Yeah, well, what we're trying to do though as well is we're trying to write at the moment. So anytime we do have spare, we are allocating to jamming and writing, and really think that's important. Like, a part of the goal in the band is it would be amazing to have another studio album. And so we just got to get enough content for that. And if we could get that out next year, you know, if we're happy with it, then we would be really stoked.
Yeah, actually, speaking of which, when it comes to writing material and that, what's it like working with Zeke at the moment, who is actually involved in 4 bands right at this point in time?
Look, yeah, working with Zeke's always good fun. You got to try and pin him down, and then he I'll be honest and say he does have a short attention span. So if he's not feeling a track, you best close that session and open up another track to work on if you want to get something good out of him on the day. But look, we're the kind of band where we do push him, and he probably has his ups and downs with that a little bit, because we don't, like, a lot of what you're hearing is Zeke gold. It's just Zeke off the cuff gold. But we also filter a lot as well, and we have quite strong filters in the band and the rest of us members of what we want a song to sound like, or if something doesn't grab our ear. So, yeah, it's working in Mammal is just that challenge of that personalities of, you know, I guess you've got Nick, the bass player, who is that guy that was just super creative and will go super deep and spend days on a track editing, moving things around. You've got Zeke, who's also super creative but more in a spontaneous vibe kind of way. And then you've got Zane and I who sit in between. And
yeah. Do you think there's going to come a gig that might actually see you and Super Heist performing on the same gig?
Oh, look, who knows? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that'll happen, but if some festival gets booked where both bands get booked, then it'll be a bit of fun. You know, obviously Zeke in the time off has been super busy, so good on him.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then he's got his solo stuff, of course. But what about you? Have you had another band in the meantime?
Yeah, well, Zane and I did Black Devil Yard Boss, which was sort of more blues rock based. I didn't want to do necessarily straight up Mammal-esque band because it just didn't feel right unless it had the right kind of vocals on it and stuff. And also did some solo blues music myself. I played a bunch of solo shows at some blues festivals around Australia. But yeah, ultimately I just got to the point where I just decided, no, I'm just more passionate about rock and loud guitars. And I was, because I was singing and fronting, I just really decided, hey, I like having a front man. I like being able to concentrate on like playing guitar really well and not having to worry about singing really well at the same time. So, you know, for me, I'm stoked to have Mammal back because it's a really easy band to be in. Like Nick and Zane, I don't even have to think about what they're doing. Like, I'm so locked in with those guys. And Zeke, it's just an amusing show to be at because you don't know what's going to happen next, but you know that you're going to win the crowd over. So it's a really easy band to play in. Yeah,
plus Zeke's done a lot of growing up since the band broke up originally.
He is. Look, to his credit, he's in a really good place right now. Me and him had massive issues back in the day. I won't lie about that. And now, yeah, he's a mature, nice guy. I didn't think I would even be saying this in my lifetime, that we're getting along really well. So, you know, I guess the lesson from this is you can't hold grudges forever, and you do have to kind of grow up. There's two sides to every story. I had to sort of grow up as well. I had to let go of some things. So, yeah, we're just in a good place. And if good music can come from the place that we're in now, then that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and speaking of which, it is an album that you're working on.
Yeah, we want to work on an album, absolutely. Like, I think in the rock genre and metal genre, I think fans still appreciate full-length albums. Like, it's more just to absorb and get into and pick out your favourite tracks. So we may drop one or two more singles leading up to it, but we do want to deliver a body of work that, you know, is a statement for where we're at this time.
Yeah. And, well, the tour, you've got Osaka Punch and Fresh Violet on most of the shows, not all of the shows.
Yeah, so look, Fresh Violet, that was one of Zeke's picks. She's doing some great things now, a bit different to have on the bill for us, but it'll be great to have a feminine energy opening up the night with a good energetic performance. And Osaka Punch obviously just did the Butterfly Effect tour and have been doing great things. And I think they'll push us a little bit because they're a high-energy band as well. So it's going to be good having them play before us because it'll make us have to step up every night, not just have an off night. Not that we would want to, but, you know, when you have a couple of good bands on a bill, it's always that, righto, let's go, let's bring out the big guns.
Yeah, I haven't actually heard of the Fresh Violet. I didn't even know it was a female. But, yeah, I know Osaka Punch. I've interviewed them before and played them on Collision a few times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it definitely sounds like a good show, and good on you for putting a girl on as an opener.
Yeah, well, sometimes rock and metal shows, they can become too much of a sausage fest. And, you know, like Zane's a really good-looking guy on drums, so we definitely get a few girls coming down that just want to watch Zane all night. But we like that spread of an audience, you know what I mean? Nothing against the guys, but it's always a nicer vibe when it's a bit mixed.
Yeah, awesome. I like drummers, so I might have to come to the show.
Oh, look, it's honestly, it's out of control. It's ridiculous. It's making the rest of us in the band feel like we need to take our gym memberships. Like, the guy has just been pumping weights and working really hard, and he's looking amazing. So it's actually funny. We get him to put on the merch, our new merch as it comes through, and take a funny photo in it, and it seems to be the way to sell T-shirts online. Like, it's like having a male model hired for your merchandise sales, and you get all these girls commenting, oh my god, oh. Yeah,
so I'm taking it he's single then?
No, he's not. He's got a... Oh. Well, I shouldn't say that, should I? Yeah, everyone, he's single.
Get down to the show.
Come down.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I shouldn't be pimping him out. This is not the Manpower, review show, ladies.
But, you know, you've got to use everything you can to get people to a show these days.
Well, look, you're right. Unfortunately, you do. Like, I would like once in my life, like, we talked about Pete Murray before. Like, he had it when his first record came out. There was just queues of people down the street. He didn't even have to, virtually blink to sell out a show. And these days it seems different. These days I know everyone's a bit more squeezed for money, and there's a lot to spend your money on. And so you have to work harder in the music business to get people to shows. So we really appreciate when people come out and spend their hard-earned to see our show. That's why we put in. We appreciate that so much.
Yeah, and he's always put on a good show. And, I mean, anyone who's seen Zeke in any of his bands knows that anything can happen.
Yeah, there's a wild card.
Yeah, definitely. And it is tonight in Geelong that the tour kicks off. And then the 29th of June, you're in Castlemaine.
Yeah, there's apparently a really good gig in Castlemaine. I didn't even know there was a rock venue there. So this will be our first time in Castlemaine, and can't wait to go there and play.
Yeah. And then the 30th of June, you're up on the Gold Coast. Well, you don't much stretch it because you've got to get from Castlemaine to the Gold Coast in one day.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. As I said, we're kicking around, a bit of Melbourne, bit of Frankston, Adelaide, Perth. It's all happening.
Yeah, you're actually, I guess you are a Melbourne band, so your hometown show is the 11th of August at the Croxton, but then also the 10th of August you're at the Pally Bar in Frankston. Yeah,
spreading it out a little bit, but I think the show to go out, if you want to go to the big show, that'll be the Croxton. I think it's 900 capacity maybe, I could be wrong, but somewhere around there. So it's going to have all the bells and whistles, that one. But yeah, Pally Bar, that's on a couple of nights after. That'll be solid too.
I'm assuming this is in Tasmania because I don't know where Forth is.
Oh, my God. That's so good that you said that, because that's exactly what I said when our booking agent presented the tour. Like I said, I wanted to go places we'd played, had a following. Fourth is the odd one out. Like, where the hell is Fourth? Who's ever heard of Fourth? Like, often in the past, bands sometimes, I know we did it on a tour T-shirt, we wrote a fake gig name and a fake town just to be funny on the tour T-shirt. But Fourth actually exists and, like, from all accounts, has a great rock venue and a great rock following, and we've been convinced to go and play in Fourth. Now, I'll drop you a message after it to let you know how it goes, because I have no idea how it'll go.
And it is in Tasmania, is it?
Yeah, like it's up near Devonport somewhere.
Right, because then you've got 3 shows over in Tassie that weekend.
Yeah, so I guess it was our booking agent being clever and go do more while you're there. But we had played in Launceston a fair few times, like MS Festival there, and a few little, we played with Carnival there and our own shows there, so that makes sense. And Hobart, and yeah, Fourth.
Right, and then the final show of the tour, after you, of course, go from Tasmania to Newcastle, the 6th of September, you're in Canberra for the final show. And I'm thinking we're going to have a new single out before you hit Canberra.
You look, you should probably be a psychic. I'm going to say that on radio. Like, your talents are wasted. Look, it's the thing about getting any new material out is it just depends on, is Zeke going to hit some gold on vocals? So that let's go to the TAB and take out a bet on if he's going to hit any gold on, because there is a few tracks lying around. Mm-hmm. And then also, would we be able to get it mixed in time? Because obviously we worked with Machine, as I said, in the States, and we'd probably like to work with him again. But if anyone's ever worked with people internationally before who have a big name, they're quite booked up and it takes a bit of time to get the schedule in. Mm. So, yeah, I'm not going to promise anything, but I like your intuition.
Yeah, well, we'll keep our fingers crossed and hopefully Machine's got time to do some mixing for you, and Zeke's always coming up with gold.
Oh, that's it. We've just got to get him on the right day and give him put the right crowd in front of the studio, and sure, it'll happen.
And this tour is going to inspire him, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, like, look, I know he's done a lot of other projects and he's loved in a lot of other projects, but I think Mammal is kind of home for him. Like, you know, he really fits into that, and it's something where it did work really well. You know, so it's definitely feels like family in Mammal. So I'm sure there'll be plenty of more gold to come.
Yeah. What would you like to say to your fan base and to new fans who have just discovered you, to get them to come out to the shows?
Oh, look, any new fans that are just discovering us, it's like you want to come out. You want to see what all the talk's about. You want the shock and awe of coming to a Mammal show and leaving and going, why didn't I know about that band? Mm. And to any of the old fans, it's like, just thanks for sticking around. Like, it's been too long. We haven't really respected you, but you've stuck with us, so we're very grateful and look forward to seeing you at a show.
Oh, well, it's hard sort of to keep up with your fans when the band's inactive.
That's what I mean, yeah. Like, but we didn't end it the way we wanted to end it. So
right.
We did have this feeling the whole time of we wanted to end it well if we were going to end it, and we ended it very poorly. And so we felt bad, obviously, to the fans, because you can only do anything that we've done because of fans, because of people enjoying it. So this is us really trying to make it up to the people that enjoy the music.
Maybe it didn't end well because it wasn't actually the end, because obviously you're back and you're going again and working, so it wasn't really the end.
That's right. It was a fake end. So yeah. It was just a pause. Had to go on a toilet stop. Might have taken longer than we'd hoped. But look, the thing is, we're actually playing better than we did back then. I don't want to talk ourselves up too much, but because we've all done other projects and we've all matured a bit, Zeke's singing really well. Like, Zeke's umpiring football and running like however many Ks a match, you know, maybe doing 15K a match or something. And then he's coming to sing, and like, the fitter you are, the better you can sing. And so he's so fit at the moment. He's just like all over it vocally. And then you've got Zane, who's like turned into the rock, killing it on the drums. And, you know, I think like it's a challenge to Nick and I to keep up.
Yeah, well, I think you can see how fit Zeke is at the moment if you watch the video that you've got out for Community.
Yeah, the shirt's off and the dance moves are happening.
Yeah. I did notice, like I wasn't taking enough notice, but I did notice that both Zeke and the drummer have their shirts off in the video.
Yeah, it wasn't really planned that way. And Nick and I were talking about it the other day. We were like, I wonder why Zeke had his shirt off. That's the third video clip he's had his shirt off. But I think it's just, he just must have instinctively done it because he often will start a show with his shirt on and then he'll just get hot. When you sing in a high-energy show and dance around, you just get really hot under lights. And so, yeah, he's often saturated with sweat by about the third song, and so the shirt just comes off. So, yeah, he went for that on the that look on the video clip, and I'm sure there'll be the odd female fan out there that's not complaining.
No, definitely not. I was just like, I'm wondering if on the next video you're all going to get your shirts off for us.
Yeah, maybe we'll turn into the Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's right. I think I need some tattoos and, a little bit more work at the gym. There's only sort of so many skinny bodies you want to look at in a video clip.
Listen to me. If I was a male and you were a female, I could be getting arrested right now for what I'm saying.
It's the times we live in.
Yeah. But anyway, I'll tell people that they can actually find you and grab tickets from mammalband.com.
Yeah.
And you are Mammal the Band on Facebook.
Yeah, there's plenty of internet ways to get to us.
And it is like exciting times because, like, I know a lot of your old fans on my Facebook have been very excited when you even just came back for one show last year, let alone the fact that you're making new music. Yeah,
look, I guess we don't even really know what to expect, and it's going to be so cool to play the new tracks after people have had a long period of time to get to know them. And if the shows last year are anything to go by, like, it's going to be such a fun year. Yeah, we just can't wait to get out there and do it.
Yeah, I will. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to catching one of your shows.
Yeah, awesome.
You have a great night. And, thanks, I hope Kat. The tour goes really well for you, and look forward to the album when it finally comes out.
Thank you. I really appreciate the support.
It has been great talking to you. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks for your time. All right, we'll chat soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.